Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another battle replay. Today we are playing as Vampire Coast versus High Elves. A very interesting matchup in my opinion. I've always struggled with this matchup because we are facing off against a Lithanar's sub-faction here. Of course, basically a Lithanar, has a lot of range capabilities. Of course, you're going to bring a lot of Shadow Warriors as well, which are really good at shutting down against Vampire Coast. Of course, Vampire Coast, you rely on your mortars and your stuff like that to take out, the High Elves archers. But, of course, your opponent can bring Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers and things like that to just really shut them down. But anyway, we're rocking Luther Harkin here. He's looking very, very nice. His neck is doing a bit of a weird spasm at the moment, sort of like twisted and turned. But he's on his good old Terrorgeist here with those lovely blue eyes. But, Luther Harkin, of course, a Duelist Lord, can, do very well against a Lithanar, can basically chase down a Lariel with Brawl, and also can go head-to-head with Tyrion if needed. Of course, he does have the Magical Void ability, which is really, really nice, which gives magical resistance to nearby troops, which is very, very good when you bring the Sirens. Now, of course, the Sirens, armor-piercing units, these are basically your bread and butter, in my opinion, of taking out High Elves, White Lions, or Swordmasters of Hoeth, because, of course, they have... they're ethereal, so they're not going to be taking as much damage in return, but they've also got Charmed, which is -9 melee attack, which is really, really nice. They cause fear and terror as well, so, that with that physical resistance, they can really tank. But, of course, in the front line here, I have got Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs. I do have the Tide of Sejolt. I can't remember how to say that name. But we also have Queen Bess here. Now, Queen Bess, very, very powerful pick here. Of course, I love playing Vampire Coast, and I always like to bring juicy units, but it's very risky to bring Queen Bess, and you'll see why very later on. But she does an extremely large amount of damage, armor piercing, anti-infantry. She is very, very good at taking out archers or shadow gaves, or what are they called? The Shadow Warriors. That's what they're called, Shadow Warriors, if needed. We also have a Vampire Fleet Captain here, Invocation of the Heck, and Zombie Summons, of course, or Drown Dead to summon some zombies in the backline if needed, always very nice. And also got some Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs protecting. And lastly, which is for my little niche pick, I don't usually bring these guys, but I've actually got a Mongol Hunter. Now, these guys are actually, really decent against High Elves. I don't usually bring these guys because basically they have 40 armor, which means they can get shut down by, things like archers very, very easily. But they have Vanguard, Stalk, anti-infantry, armor piercing, so they're actually really good against High Elves if you can actually get them in. So a good unit. And lastly, we do have some Scurvy Dogs on the flank here for a bit of skirmishing, maybe looking to get into the backline on those Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. As for my opponent here, we do have a Lithanar, and a Lithanar is just an amazing pick here, so good against the Vampire Coast. You can literally, shut down pretty much mortars, snipe lords. You can do so much, and it's very hard to shut down a Lithanar. My opponent also has some Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers, which is the exact reason why I didn't bring Mortars, because Mortars would just be shut down by these guys instantly. Basically, trying to go head-to-head with the High Elves in a artillery fight never works, because these things are basically designed for taking out other artillery units, which is why I didn't want to risk it. My opponent also has some White Lions as well, which are always very nice, armor piercing. I mean, they're not going to be great to get against taking out Sirens, but they'll definitely beat Deckhand mobs. We also have some Shadow Walkers here. These are very, very good units. I mean, these basically are your bread and butter of dealing with the Vampire Coast, as well with Love and Seaguard. These guys can basically shut down artillery units, shut down gun units, anything like that. Also have some Love and Seaguard as well, shielded. It's pretty traditional. These guys, again, they can shut down pretty much. It's just such a standard, anti-Vampire Coast build my opponent's bringing here. And in the back, he does have the Swordmasters of Hoeth. So basically, he lets all his other stuff clear out the artillery, clearing out all the gunmen units, and then the Swordmasters just go in and finish up. And in case I do bring anything big and scary, he has the Fireborn Dragon Princes, of course, very good at dealing with any large sea creatures that are coming out the sea to cause a problem. Anyway, let's get right into this replay. So, my opponent is shooting into Queen Bess. A Lithanar is shooting into Queen Bess, which I'm already kind of worried about. I was hoping that maybe if I get behind this little hill over here, I'd be able to protect it, but that is Queen Bess dead instantly. That is 1,600 gold gone in a flash. That is huge for my opponent. Literally, at this point, I thought, fuck, I'm never bringing Queen Bess against this particular sub-faction again, because a Lithanar can just shut him down. So what I try to do here is I try to push on a Lithanar, try to, of course, get in there, but Lithanar does summon his clone here to sort of tank, and the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers are shooting into Luther Harkin. So, as you can see, balance of power already shooting into my opponent's favour here, so much. And, I'm trying to sort of juke out a little bit here, trying to avoid the missiles, but it isn't doing much. My Mongol Hunter over here He's looking for an opportunity to get on those Eagle Claw bolt throws as well as my Scurvy Dogs. Of course, my Scurvy Dogs were being chased down by the Fireborn, so I had to be very, very careful here. I do believe he shuts off one of my Scurvy Dogs here. Does he shut off? Oh, no, so I still got both my Scurvy Dogs here. I was trying to be very, very careful because, of course, you know, Fireborn versus any of these units will shut them down very, very easily. But as I say, Queen Bess offline. Luther Harkin taking so much damage here. I have to use an Invocation of the Heck from the Fleet Captain here. And basically, my plan is to try and go balls deep right now. Send in the Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob. Send in the Sirens, because luckily my opponent doesn't really have any magical damage at all. Nothing here is going to be able to deal with my Sirens, so basically get them in, get them stuck in there, and try and shut down, you know, as many of these units as I can. We have got White Lions here engaging against Sirens, which is actually a really good fight for me, because yes, these guys have armor piercing, and you know, they will hold. Sirens are designed to take out these sort of units, so it's going to be really, really good for me. We do have the Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs getting in there as well, and I'm being very careful right now, because my Morgul Hunter, if he gets stuck in with that Fireborn, he will be shut down ever so quickly. He does, I don't believe he has weakness to... No, he doesn't actually have weakness to fire, because Hunger does not give weakness to fire, luckily, so he hasn't actually got weakness to fire, but still, you know, against the Fireborn, I don't want that to happen. So I send him in here, getting stuck on the White Lions over here. Some Scurvy Dogs do get into the back line, but are engaged by the Swordmasters of Hove. I was trying to shut down the Eagle Claw bolt throwers with what little I can, but I still have one in reserve here. I didn't want to send them both in. I wanted to keep them back and wait for my opponent to make a mistake and leave me a gap open here. Alifinart does use his True Shot ability here, I believe it is. Is that his True Shot ability? No, Draken of the Sky. Oh, no, it's not Draken of the Skies. It is his... oh, it's the Moonbow. The Moonbow. I get confused with all these new Archer abilities. But yeah, so basically, Luther Harkin here, picking at Alifinart. I'm trying to get my Sirens in, so the Sirens do break through the front line here. And I did see the Fireborn coming in, so I do stop them with the Sirens. Of course, the Fireborn don't do magical attacks, which is really good for me. They do fire attacks, but not magical attacks, so Sirens can be able to tank very, very nicely. And basically, I was trying to get the Sirens mixed in here as much as possible and just cause as much carnage as possible. Over here, oh, excuse me. Over here, though, Luther Harkin and the Morgul Hunter are shutting down some units here. I wanted to get the Morgul Hunter on the Swordmasters of Hove, because that's what he's going to be really good for, is taking out these Swordmasters, anti-infantry, armor piercing. Going to be really, really good. The front line, though, is actually going really good. We're pushing through. We've got the Vampire Fleet Captain coming in. Balance of power still in my opponent's favour very heavily here, and, you know, for me to come back from this game, I had to really sort of micromanage, like, on top of my game here. I had to avoid those Fireborn at all costs here. So what I do summon here is I summon some Zombie Pirate Gunnery mobs here, and I noticed that my opponent was trying to keep these Fireborn back at all costs. So what I did is I thought, okay, let's get some damage on them, get this Zombie Pirate Gunnery mob to start shooting into the Fireborn, which is exactly what I did. And, you know, these guys can actually do decent damage, even though the Fireborn are shielded. You know, this is a summon unit. I've also got some Polar Arms coming in here, anti-large, so this is actually a really good engagement for me. The Fireborn are tied up by all these chaff units and actually will take some good damage in this engagement here. Luther Harkin here is, though. So what I did here is I had the Vampire Fleet Captain and Luther Harkin here hunting down Alifinart. Alifinart was, of course, using his clones. I do have another summon happening here, trying to tie in that Fireborn as much as possible, because I didn't want the Fireborn breaking through. And of course, the thing is, my opponent's being very smart here. He's keeping his Fireborn back lit at Alifinart, because basically, if I charge in with Luther Harkin on Alifinart, the Fireborn will just come in and shut me down. But I was trying to get the Vampire Fleet Captain on, because the Vampire Fleet Captain can do some decent damage against Alifinart. Over here, though, we have quite a good engagement. The White Lines of Charis are actually failing against the Sirens. The Sirens are doing work over here. Over here, though, the Morgul Hunter is doing absolute work. Already on to 58 kills, doing some nice swiping animations on these Swordmasters, and it is really going good for me. Bounce power is starting to shift back into my favour. Luther Harkin here, I'm looking for another opportunity to get onto Alifinart. Of course, I have got that trusty pirate pistol shooting into him all this time, which is really good for me. I do believe here that I am still looking for an opportunity here to get in. I do come in for a charge here, getting onto Alifinart, doing some serious nice damage here. I'm really happy with that. The Fireborn, though, are coming through this flank here, and they were looking for an opportunity to get onto Luther Harkin and the Morgul Hunter as they charge in. I wasn't sure which one they were targeting here. It seems like they got caught up by a lot of the chaff here. But basically, he starts trying to attack on Luther Harkin here, and I thought, well, if Luther Harkin gets caught by, you know, this Fireborn, it's basically going to be GG. So I sent the Sirens in, I sent the Mongol Hunters. I do use Hornswaggle here to slow them down, giving Luther Harkin an opportunity to get away here, which is really, really good for me. So far, it's looking really good. Alifinar's routing off, some White Lions are running off as well. Also some Love and Sea Guard. The Fireborn are pretty much my opponent's last stand here. Got Hornswaggle, got Power Siphon on them as well. We're doing, you know, some serious nice work on them. Of course, they're below half health now. This other Eagle Claw Bolt Flower comes back online, trying to shut it down again. I really didn't want this thing coming back online because they say this thing could definitely do some nice damage to Luther Harkin. The Fireborn do come back though, trying to get back on Luther Harkin. So literally, you know, I am having to micromanage so carefully here because if I get caught up by that Fireborn, it's going to be GG. But luckily, of course, with my pistol, I can still shoot. We've got another Moonbow shot coming down, hitting my Vampire Fleet Captain here. My pistol is being still shot off, but you see, I've got these Sirens pretty much on the prowl. Nice breath attack there. Of course, I don't think that do much damage because it does fire attacks. But basically, at this point, my opponent's just trying to charge over the Fireborn, doing what little damage he is. I'm sort of trying to keep a well-timed defense here, trying to keep these Zombie Pirate deckhand mobs alive at all costs, because they're my main way of dealing with the Fireborn. But Alifanar does come back online, and that is pretty fucking bad, because Alifanar, you know, he's got Stalk and Snipe, and basically I won't be able to see him right now because of course he's got Slippery as well, which means he's speedy. So basically he's still shooting into Luther Harkin, 1,620 health left. Of course my Mongol Hunter was trying to chase him down but does get caught up by all these units here. In my opinion, my opponent should have charged the Fireborn into the Mongol Hunter here. It would have been such a smart decision. I do summon another Zombie Pirate gunnery mob here, shooting into the Fireborn again. And yet again, we're doing some serious nice damage here. I mean, just basically, I've just been kiting these Fireborn units all game, just sort of giving them the wrong target to focus. But luckily, Luther Harkin here does find Alifanar. And unfortunately, Alifanar is no match for Luther Harkin, especially on a Terrorgeist. And I do believe we chase off a Alifanar here, which is really, really good for me. Of course, that's going to be really good for leadership penalties. Of course, with this Mongol Hunter, Fear and Terror is going to be, of course, almost onto 100 kills there. 95 kills, doing very, very good. Fireborn here, as you can see, Fireborn just getting tied down by these shitty units. Of course, I do have my Scurvy Dogs here now coming in. I mean, these guys are really useful to chasing down units, getting rear charges and leadership penalties, which is exactly why I kept them in Vanguard. Of course, the Zombie Pirate Gunnery Mob still shooting into the Fireborn. The Fireborn finally actually start attacking the Mongol Hunter, and this is where the Mongol Hunter really starts to take damage, decaying very, very fast here. Those fire attacks are doing some serious work onto this Mongol Hunter, and unfortunately the Mongol Hunter does go down here, which is very upsetting, but he's done a very good job. He got to about 100 kills, just to about 100 kills, which is very nice. We do chase off Alifanar as well with Luther Harkin over there, but yep, Mongol Hunter on his last legs here, 32 health, on 100 kills. He's actually done very well, and unfortunately he does die here. He definitely made his money's worth. We've still got this Zombie Pirate Gunnery Mob here, fighting against the Fireborn, and say we've got some Scurvy Dogs here attacking these. We've got Taunt going down as well, minus 30 armor, melee defense as well on these guys, and speed. So basically, the Scurvy Dogs are just chasing down the Fireborn right now, making sure they get off, which is very, very nice. We have got a bit of a problem here, though. We've got some Sirens fighting against some Swordmasters of Hoeth here, and they're pretty much on the verge of decaying as well. Balance of Power has gone into my favour here, but I still have the Vampire Fleet Captain with some summons left. I've still got Luther Harkin back. Of course, we have got a Alifanar. So now, basically, it's a Fear and Terror, sort of battle now. So I do get these White Lions off, completely, route them off the field, which is very, very good. Have got some Love and Sea Guard coming back, but basically my plan was now is that I use Luther Harkin and basically cause Fear and Terror to all these units over here, with the Scurvy Dogs coming in for some rear charges as well, trying to route off as many units as I can here. The Love and Sea Guard do start shooting in here, but basically it's my opponent's last stand now. Vampire Fleet Captain and Luther Harkin going onto these Swordmasters here with the rear charges of the Scurvy Dog coming in, getting some nice charges, which is very, very, very nice for me. But pretty much my opponent has pretty much nothing left and does rout off. And then at the end of the day, he goes to me, lucky, like I fucking won that game of luck. Fuck you, mate. You killed my Queen Bess early on, and then you fucking failed to use your Fireborn effectively. That's not luck. That's just your poor micromanaging. But very well played to you anyway, dude. But just admit when you've lost, okay? Like especially when you clearly you got better micromanaged. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. And yeah, very well played to my opponent, and I'll see you later.